The last gift that my mother gave me was in a conversation that we had just a few days before she died. She shared with me this power of storytelling that she told me that her gift, the ability to shift how people feel and act in this world with my words, and most importantly, reminded me that I am special. The last gift that I gave my mother was a fistful of dandelions that I picked from the parking lot. So, not exactly equal. But it was April 22nd, 14 years ago, and my mom had gone into the hospital 5 weeks earlier with these stomach aches that wouldn't go away. And she never left the hospital because she was diagnosed very quickly with stage 4 stomach cancer. The night that she died, there was 8 of us gathered around her ICU bed, a place where visitors aren't typically very welcome, right? But I guess they made an exception for us because we were there all weekend camping out. And just a few hours before she breathed her last, the group of us left the hospital to go and get some dinner. And I remember walking across the parking lot on that unseasonably warm April evening, and I stepped over this patch of dandelions and felt this sudden urge to stay. Without much explanation, I said goodbye to my family, and I started picking the best, the biggest, the brightest, long-stemmed dandelions I could find, and I held them in my arms and walked through those hospital corridors like I had a bouquet for the Queen herself. The nurse gave me a white paper cup to put them in. I placed them on my mom's bedside table, and I sat next to her, holding her hand, hoping she'd wake up at least one more time. So finally, when her eyes blinked open, I got up quickly, grabbed the dandelions, and I held them in front of her face too close, and I said, "Mommy, these are for you." And she blinked, trying to get those already wilting petals into focus. And though she couldn't speak, she then gave me a glance that said more than all of Shakespeare's collective works. But specifically, there were 3 words that I knew that she was thinking. They are beautiful. And I know that because I'd seen that look before. On a beautifully sunny Saturday afternoon in May, 22 years earlier, I was bored out of my mind. My brother was out of the house for the day, and my Ninja Turtles had already completed their mission, spanning from the basement to the bedrooms. I needed something to do, and my very patient mother put on her entrepreneurial hat and put this 6-year-old to work. The front lawn was covered in bright yellow dandelions, and she said I could get 1 penny for every dandelion that I picked. Whew! Kept me busy for an afternoon. My eyes lit up. I grabbed my Tonka dump truck and got down on the lawn and started filling the back of it, not with weeds, but with cold, hard cash. Because I had figured out that 100 dandelions meant that I could buy an apple juice from Becker's. 400 dandelions, I could rent a video game from Video 99. And by the end of that long, hard day, I had made a whopping $7.86. Just loaded. And as I was filling it up for this 8th time, I looked up and saw my mom standing in the stoop, and she said, "It's time for dinner. Go wash your hands." Now, dinner, I knew, wasn't going to be anything fancy. Not for me. Something like a plain baked potato, steamed veg, dry pork chop, just the basics. Because I was born with anaphylactic food allergies to basically anything with a shadow. It was the 80s also, so I had allergies before they were cool. And nobody knew what to do with us. My mom was my constant advocate, the only one who understood. I would go shopping with her at the health food store, and I'd be excited about all-natural rye bread and raisins for my lunch. And then those allergies, well, paired with my chronic asthma and eczema, meant that my mom's schedule was constantly disrupted with frequent visits to the school to pick me up for appointments, take me home sick, or just fill my snack box in the corner of the classroom up with fruit leathers for snack time. And a lot of kids would say, my mom says I'm special. But I always felt like my mom went this extra mile to help me believe that I was special. The first day of first grade, I remember dressing myself because I was 6 years old. Of course I could. And I chose my outfit, blue and white striped pants and a bright yellow short sleeve button-up, done up all the way to the top. Not like my shirt today. And then to top that chic ensemble off, I had this pair of rainbow suspenders. Before me and my brother left the house to walk to school, my mom said, wait. And she put a button on my suspenders that said, "Stop, don't feed me, I'm special." So, I don't think I made many friends that first day of school. But I don't think that my mom really cared about that, honestly, because as you can imagine, every time I left the house, she was filled with this constant state of anxiety or fear that I might accidentally eat a chocolate chip. I feel like she had every right to see me as a nuisance, an annoyance, something getting in her way. And by all means, I look back at that, and I should have felt like that. I'm a pain. I am a thorn in her side. I'm a problem child. I'm a weed. And I never felt that. It's all because of that look that she gave me. Because that night, before washing my hands for dinner, I dug through my collection of dandelions and I picked the biggest, the best, and the brightest long-stem dandelions I could find. I put them in my little hand and I walked through the hallway of my house into the kitchen and stood behind my mom and I said, "Mommy, these are for you." She turned around and gasped. Her big brown eyes were welling up, magnified through her thick lens, square-rimmed glasses. It was the 80s. And she said, "They are beautiful." Then she took them from my hands, turned around, got a little vase, put them in, and bent down and gave me this hug. I can still feel it felt like her arms wrapped around me twice. She said, "Thank you," with a kiss on the cheek. And I think about all the issues that I had as a kid and how I should have felt like this annoyance, this nuisance, and I never did. Think about those dandelions. They were just weeds, but my mom didn't see them that way. She saw this deeper beauty. She saw flowers in these weeds. And I think that's the real beauty to me of dandelions, because those bouquets are long gone, right? That's $7.86, that is very long gone. And the truth is, as I stand here today doing some version of what my mom did with her life as well, as an actress, the truth is my mommy is also long gone. But like those dandelions do every year, they show up for a few weeks and they cover our yards and our fields and our parks with this brightness. Before turning into fluff balls and fading away, so do I get this reminder that no matter how small, insignificant, lonely, annoying, or purposeless I may feel, I'm not merely a weed. I am beautiful. I do have a gift. I can always make a quick buck when I need to. And most importantly, my mom says I'm special.